Welcome back to another Secrets of the Pros. On behalf of the Department of Youth Services, I'm your host, located on number 55 Regent Street here in Belize City, Central America. I'm Andrew Rayburn, the mixing engineer and mastering engineer and producer. And we want to shout out to Karan Jacksil. I hope I have it right. Sorry if I don't say your name correct. He was asking, can you do a video on vocal recording effects chain? So this one is dedicated out to you. So here's what I did. This is a new track, by the way, from Dandy Money Where You're There. He literally just left the studio, and I've just finished mixing in about half an hour. About an hour ago, I finished mixing this song. This is the artwork here. I'll let you hear a little piece of it. Then I'm gonna go out straight into my vocal chain recording right now.
This is me New Year's resolution. Everything making me problem last year, This year me want to find the solution. Yeah, dash, me get the vision. Me have to make me next decision. How money me go pay this on a suicide mission? Tired of spend some change. Me want spend grand some money where you're there. Become man I look for you anywhere you're there. The dots go hunt for you, need you every day. But me need you today, you have to pay off the bills there. Some money where you're there. Become man I look for you anywhere you're there. The dots go hunt for you, need you every day.
Now, what I did, whenever I'm recording an artist, I use plugins like Vocal Writer from Waves. I'm sure a lot of you guys know about Vocal Writer. They have here's the track. Forgive me, I have a little hoarse throat here. This would balance off the vocals. So what I'm doing, well, I'm not gonna get too technical, but whenever I'm recording, everything is coming through a mono input, right, for the vocals. So what I did, if I can bring up my audio setup here, everything is coming from bus 9. So whenever I'm hitting up an artist on the mic here, I will use a Vocal Writer, and that will balance off the vocals.
Oh, Josh, me get the vision. Me have to make me next decision.
And I can set the target, the volume where I want the vocal to stay. In this case,
how money me go pre this and
let me turn it back on.
Suicide mission.
I'll use this while recording. So whenever the singer gets too loud or rapper, the Vocal Writer brings it down. I can set the spill. Let's do that. Let's see.
Me want go find the solution. Yo, Josh, me get the vision. Me have to make me next decision. How money me go pre this on a suicide mission? Tired of spend some change. Me want spend grand some money.
And on top of that, I'm gonna put a CLA compressor in mono mode. This gives it a little bit more volume.
Money where you're there. Become man I look for you.
And I'm compressing about 3 dB through the CLA 3A, right? So I have that happening there. Because guys, remember I told you I record vocals low, right? And if I have the vocals low, and most of the time I have my instruments mix a little bit a little bit louder, so I need to compensate for the vocals. So I'm gonna show you my chain here. This is the lead vocal track. It's Dandy. Let me paint it blue just so we don't get confused here. I have the Vocal Writer, I have CLA 3A, and I'm parallel compressing. So I'm sending Dandy's vocal through another track, right? I hope I'm making sense here. CLA 3A is the first one, or I could put Vocal Writer first, whichever ones. So that does a little slight compression, right? And then I'm sending Dandy's vocal. Let's play.
Anyway, you're there. That's go hunt for you.
I'm sending that to another CLA 3A.
Don't need you every day, but me need you today, yo.
And that's compressing about 3 dB on the parallel chain. And I'm going to put these aside here. So that's a parallel compression chain. And now this is the combined, I call this vocal auxiliary. So I have the dry vocal coming through here. I have the vocal rider and the CLA on it. And then on the parallel compression auxiliary, I have the CLA 3A doing some compression about 3 dB just to get some volume. And then both dry and compressed signal of the vocal is coming off the vocal auxiliary bus. And on the auxiliary bus, I have a CLA 3A. I have an NLS channel for some harmonics, and I have the EQ basically, and I have, let's see here, let's see what else I'm doing here. Let me bring this down a little bit. Yeah, and waves tune with a de-esser. So basically I have a vocal rider, a CLA compressor. On the parallel compression chain, I have just one CLA 3, and on the main chain, I have a CLA 3A again.
If you pay off the bills there, some money when you're there, because man I look for you, anywhere you're there, that's go on for you, need
without the NLS, the vocal will get a little bit thin. Check this out.
Every day, but me need you today. If you pay off the bills there, if you pay off the light and the water, swear to God, me say that's the starter. Me have to give a hug head to me mother. Couple blue note done stash in me data.
So, to my friend here is asking about vocal recording chain. This is where I start out. Vocal rider first, and then I go to the CLA 3A. Right, to get some volume.
Hey, me tell us and I forget the dada and the liar talks panica.
I'm gonna turn off the chain and I'll let you hear the difference. Right. Let me mute the parallel compression.
Everybody don't know.
So that's a raw. You'll barely hear anything. So I'm gonna engage the parallel, the CLA 3A.
We need money if you run in, but the team
and the vocal rider.
Money where you're dead, because man I look for you.
It gets a little louder, and then I'm gonna send the signal right here to the parallel compression chain. Let's bring that in.
Yo, anywhere you're dead, that's go on for you, need you every day, but me need you today.
So I have the CLA 3A now on the parallel compression chain, and on the main chain here, I'm gonna engage another CLA 3A.
Hey, I hope you pay off the bills there, some money where you're dead, because man I look for you.
So in actuality, I'm compressing about 6 dB on the lead vocal, while it's coming from the mic. You might say that's a lot, but it's happening in different buses, right? It's not one track compressing like 6 dB. Overall, it's 6 dB when you combine the auxiliary parallel compression with the vocal, the parallel compression track and the lead track with the vocal aux, right? So basically the dry signal and the compressed signal them, and running through the NLS. You can use that for starters to get your vocal to compete with your instruments.
That's go on for you, need you every day, but me need you today. I hope you pay off the bills there.
Right, without that it will be a little bit hard to get your vocals to cut through, and then I have my auto tune and my EQ and my de-esser and
my granny say early bird they get the first worm. Had that every youth have to learn alkaline.
That's how I did it.
Every get a youth have to earn. Them say money are the root of all evil, and at that I just got the heart pre-power pre-off your life, your house and your vehicle.
So I hope that tip was helpful to you. Don't be afraid to drop some compression. Do a little bit of 3 dB compression with a compressor. You can use anyone. I like to use the CLA 3A because it adds volume and harmonics to the vocal and excitement, and the vocal rider keeps it balanced. Parallel compressing that with another CLA 3A or whatever compressor you want. along with them, and putting one more instance of CLA 3A for more volume and a little bit of harmonics. Maybe you can use a distortion plugin, maybe a tape plugin, and of course user equalizer and a de-esser, just as a rough. Normally I leave my EQs flat and just let the compressor catch the vocal as it's coming in on the session. And so that's how I did my vocal recording chain. So we'll catch you on the next one.